Enel is everyone's least favorite leader. Let's just be honest. Either you love it or you hate it. But Enel is here to stay, and in OP11, it does get a few little upgrades from OP10 more specifically, or EBO2 actually, if we're being very specific with the new 10-drop Enel. But there's new cards we do get in OP11, like this 1-drop counter event that we can try out and see if it really works for the leader. And second, of course, we have the new Zeus card that everybody is going crazy about. It's basically just a better flampe with removal. It's a 2k, it's 2 cost, and it gets rid of a 5 cost character on the board. Play more into other characters, your big bodies and filtering and leader effect and never dying and being the most toxic annoying deck in the meta. Let's see how we do today on the sim in the OP11 format against some of the better decks and see if Enel really is viable in the future. Here is our Enel deck list. If you don't know what Enel does, opponent's turn, once per turn, when your life hits zero, you may add the top card of your deck to your life, then discard 1 card from your hand, meaning that if you have 0 cards in hand, you can still literally use this leader effect. So say we trigger out a life or something like a Frankie, or I guess Frankie doesn't matter because you draw, but if you get something that goes to the trash from your trigger, it literally just gives you a life for free, and you basically just never die. So you always have 3 life because you have 1 life, you gain 1 life back, and then you have to hit me again. So with that, we always gain life with the cards like the 10-drop Enel, which has Rush, and then you may trash 1 card from your hand. If your life is 1 or less cards, place 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life. Then this character gains plus 1000, basically just being a better 10-drop body rather than playing this ace, but we still play both because we need to heal like crazy. We run for more top end. The 8-drop Katakuri, you may place 1 character with a cost of 8 or less at the top or bottom of the owner's life, meaning we can choose our own characters to heal up, or triggers in life, or add a 2k back to hand with removal, or we can go something like removing our opponent's board and call it a day. This is a removal heavy list. We play into the Yamato as well, which KOs one of our opponent's characters equal to their cost, equal to their total life of you and your opponent. Then if you have 1 or less life, gain 1 life. Really simple, to the point, and we go to 1 life very easily with Flampe and Zeus now that we just take life like crazy by our own effects, and we don't even get starved out from our own abilities. We play Gadatsu, where we starve out our opponent and KO one of their characters with their cost of life. We have crazy triggers like Frankie that plays itself and draws a card and is a 2k counter. We have triggers of Bedge, of course, 0 cost event. You know what all of these do. We run 4 of the Raigo to KO any character and then go to 1 life. It basically can just set us up for whatever we need. We run the 10-drop Ace, so that is basically just the best rush option for the deck, other than this new Enel, which is a weird split having the 7. I did steal this from an online list. It's not my personal list, so I want to test this out, but I personally would probably drop down this character and maybe go for more like a 5-drop Ace, or maybe go on something different, but I also play a whole different strategy. I've even thought about building a Supernova Enel and seeing how that does in the format. Obviously, there's just so many amazing just yellow cards, but another added from the EBO2 format is a blocker that says if you have 2 or less life cards, draw 2 and trash 1, which usually by our 5-dawn turn, we do have that, which is wild for any other deck except Enel. Because even with Enel, when we have 1 life, we have 3. So really good stuff right there. I think this is a well put together list. We have the new OP11 character, or event I should say. You may rest 3 Dawn cards if both players' total amount of life is 5 or more. KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. So it helps us with removal when we're starving out our opponent. For 4 Dawn, we get rid of a 5, so it's pretty good advantage there. And then obviously the counter is similar to that of Divine Departure. Up to 1 of your leaders gains plus 3000 during this battle. So it is able to do both effects based off of what we need in that situation. So we have it on our opponent's turn or our turn depending on the situation. I basically just feel like as long as we don't find Blackbeard, we should be good. So let's see how this deck list does all together, and let's see some games on the sim. We start our game with Nami. Nami being a very defensive deck, I think this is going to be a good position. We have the Flampe, Shirahoshi. We are going first here so we can Flampe. We're going to hold up. This won't matter. We won't need this right now. We'll keep this and see how we do. I think we do Flampe early, take the life and draw and just pass turn. Now we go down to 3 life. Basically just getting 1 step closer to our leader effect here. So we will swing in for 5 just because that will get us a card out of their hand. They're not going to take this so easily in my opinion. Oh, they do. I actually like that. Usually you don't like that, but it is what it is. I'm kind of fine with it either way. I guess we're not playing the Starved now that we've gotten that situation. They use the Hiyori to draw 1 basically. So they take the life, put 1 at the top, and then they have 7 or less after using that effect, so they get to draw for their leader effect. Basically just doing whatever they want. And it looks like they may swing 7 at us. We'll take aggressively. No trigger there. We'll rather hold the 2k in this position, I believe. So we do have the 2 or less life threshold. We're going to swing in for 5. That's going to give us a card out of their hand because they want to get rid of cards anyways. So that's kind of our goal with this situation. and they take again aggressively, getting Kiki Nojo trigger. We will play this and then put 2 cards, trash 1 card. So we have the 0 cost. Will we need Raigo? Possibly. Double Yamato probably won't do as much since we're going to such a low life total. So we're gonna drop the Yamato. We're going into 7 here, so we could like Zeus and something else depending on how they hit us. So we're just gonna pass there. We have a good amount of counter. We do have the 0 cost event. We will be able to go into 9 to gain 1, and forcing us to discard 2 cards from our hand. I think we just trash the top of the life. That's fine. So they do get to draw a card, get a little more characters in hand, but they're only swinging a 5 and a 6, so we just block out of the 5, and we counter the 6 for a 2K. Actually, we might just take this, because it'll let us filter, and then we block him 1 for the Sanji, because if we block, then they swing this, and we only give them 1. Either way, we give them 1, but at least this gives us filter, right? So I guess in this situation, we take... Shoot, I'll use the trigger, actually. Trigger, we'll use Luffy trigger to KO Kiki Nojo, they'll gain a life, and then we'll trash a card from hand. Let's get a Red Hawk. I don't think we'll need that. I could be wrong in this situation, but we should be pretty safe here. So we can drop another Shirahoshi. Won't have removal for the Lin, just based off the power of the character itself. So I think we'll go 7. We could even Raigo the Lin just to have that advantage. Let's actually Raigo the Lin and then swing in for 6. Run it. Let's get another card out of hand. Like, I think they'll just take, honestly. But I think in this situation, counter. That makes sense for the cards in hand. We both have books in our hand, basically. But they have a little bit more life. They do have the bounce Luffy, so they'll swing in for 8. Bounce the Shirahoshi back to hand. We will just take the 8, because again, it's filter. So I don't really think they thought that through too much. Because we just take this, we're pretty safe. Ooh, they bounce their own Hiyori back to hand. That's actually wild. We're going to take this. No trigger. We won't be able to drop this for another turn. We're going to be dropping the 8-drop Katakuri, giving them a life, basically. So I think we should be good here to drop... I think Yamato, because we'll have Rush every other turn, and they should be playing big bodies here. But being able to heal, because we're giving them an extra life, so they'll be at 4 life, we'll be at 1 life. So that'll be 5. We'll only get rid of a 5 cost, so Yamato won't do as much, I think, just based off that quick math. So we'll see what we can do with that. We're going to swing in, 6 at us. I think we have to block, of course. So how do we get out? Do we just give him a 2K, or do we block him 1? Or just give him Shirahoshi? I think we just block and give Shirahoshi from hand and keep the 2 blockers on the board. I think that's pretty safe there. We will swing in for 5 here at face. Should get a card out of hand. I'm not too worried about the situation itself. Swing in for a 7 or anything. I don't think we need to... We can actually swing the Sanji blocker now that I look at it, because we do have 8 here. So we should be good. At least it gets another card out of hand. Put that to the bottom of the life and pass. So at least it removes their board as well. And they only dropped a Hiyori back to hand. They can rip this back into their hand with the Hiyori. The Hiyori saying add the top or bottom card of your life to your hand. So they can add this to hand and then stack the top of their life in this situation. Or they can just play it on another one, which is honestly totally fair. And then add this one back to hand. Definitely a possibility, because at the end of the day, that is a 2K counter going back to hand. So we're going to need some removal for that, meaning 10 drop Enel is coming in, and it's coming in really, really nice. So 8 into here, we're totally fine with that, and then they do get arrested Dawn on their leader for their effect, and they bounce back their Hiyori. Very smart there. We'll let that go. Not too stressed about it in this position. And then 6 at us, we just take and filter again. So I think we just trash the Sanji we just grabbed, because we have tons of counter in hand, and I'm going more for counter in this situation. So we will go 8 into 8 here, just to get a card out of hand. Very simple and to the point. And then we will be dropping 10 drop Enel, gaining a life. Another super simple, like that just makes sense. So they went ahead and did leader effect as well, which is interesting, because we were going to swing them, don't get me wrong, but it is what it is. Hey, 12 into 8, what are you going to do? Let it go? Cool. We have another one of those coming in. We have 6, technically 9K counter if we need to, but we also have a blocker on the board and 2 life, so they shouldn't be swinging our board at all, because our board's just a little too big for what they're trying to do in this situation. So we still have a long game to go. They dropped down the other Luffy that we did know they had, that they grabbed out of their life. 7 into us, we will take. And I'm going to go no trigger on the veggie. I want them to swing this character, so I'd rather not veg trigger them. And they do the right thing. They don't take, or they don't swing, because of course that wouldn't do anything. But what we could do is Katakuri again, force them into the Hiyori, and then they can only swing 5 next turn. So I think that is what we'll do. We will bottom deck this, or put it at the bottom. We'll swing in for 7, 8, and 11, because we still get to gain a life off this Enel effect here as well. And we can just drop one of the triggers or one of the bodies that we don't need. Right now it's looking like we don't need the 0 cost, just because there's nothing else we can hit with it, but we don't know that. So we're going to go 7. They're going to have to ditch a card for leader effect here and still take. Interesting. We can trash the top of our life. We're going to gain a life anyways, so I'm kind of fine with that. 8, because the Enel just gives so much advantage there. So in this situation, we're still good. We can do this. We trash the 0 cost, gain a life, 12k at your face. What do you do? We still have the Shirahoshi blocker from the very beginning of the game. 8k counter, 12k rush coming in. I'm not worried at all. Now they get the Luffy back. They're basically just chain smoking this Luffy right now, going back to back to back. They'll have 8 with rush and then 6 with their leader. That's fine with me. Honestly, not too stressed about it. We actually need an opening on our board, so we will probably just take this, I think, for, again, more filter. No reason not to. So we just take this, and then we just block out of the next swing. No worries for us. I think we actually keep the Shirahoshi just in case. So I think I will drop a 2k to gain a life. Just because Frankie has the least utility, and then we will just block out of this. There's no reason not to use that blocker, because we're going to have to get rid of something on board. We could just get rid of Flampe, but that's fine as well. Let's go 5 in a face, forcing a card out of hand, and then we can just clear up the board here, because we're going to do exactly what Enel does. We're going to still gain a life, so we could even go 8 in a face again, because then we're still presenting lethal. Yeah, let's go 8 in a face. We're still presenting lethal here, so if they take 2 aggressively here, we just win the game. And we're fine with them having that 1 body on the board, because we know we have a ton of counter. We're gaining a life, so we'll have 2 life, and so we should be good here, just to swing in. It was kind of like the test with the 8. I think was the best option, because we saw them counter out, but it's like at this point there's more pressure on their life than this character right here. We don't use the effect because we're not getting a life. I'd rather have our 7k counter, meaning that we could get out of, what, 11k swing. I think we just got it. Even if they can get out of this swing, we should be good. They get out of the swing, last chance. What do you do here? You need to have 3 blockers in hand, and you only have 2 cards. Now a rush character is very interesting, but at the end of the day we still have 4 life. You hit me? Cool. No trigger. Not even stressed about it. You get to draw a card. Good for you. Very nice, very nice. 8 at us. Oh no, you hit me again. And that's going to be game. We're going to drop the, just in case, but we just gain a life and then we just counter out of anything else, or we just take, or we almost hit the 0 cost. We had the Bedge trigger. We were good. Even if they had a 2 cost 12k rush, we were about to hit a Bedge trigger and stop one of their swings. So what do you do there? So hey, GG's. Enel into blue-yellow is actually not too bad. I actually kind of like that matchup. Yellow on yellow madness here. This could be very interesting. We do have the Flampe early, but we don't have any of our big bodies. I think I'd like to mulligan just to see if we can find something, and of course we don't. The Flampe would have obviously been better. We got a Yamato, a Raigo, which is going to be good in this matchup, I believe, just to get rid of their big blockers and still be able to swing in. I do think we starve this deck just because it gets rid of their leader ability, basically. So they have to basically gain life. So I think we just drop this and pass. I think we're playing the long haul here, which is one of Enel's best strategies. Don't take me as an Enel main, guys, because I do not main Enel. I do not play this deck very often. So it's very different than my usual play style. And they have the Hawkins. We're okay with that. We'll trash a life. So that is going to be a blocker for them, but we're not going to be swinging in anyways. We're going to play it on the Gadatsu here. Just get rid of that and trash our life. Sure, take it and pass. So we're getting rid of all their big options in the early game, which I think is going to be really good. We're just calling it a day. I don't have to swing in. I don't have to do anything. 5 at us. Sure, I'll take. I get a 2k counter. I'm still looking for a big body. A nice big body would be very good. Very nice. And hey, guess what? Boom. No more Kiki Nojo. And then, how funny would this be? Just kill the Shirahoshi. They have 7 life. How funny could that be? No, I'm not going to do it, though. That would be so hilarious, man. I want to so bad. I should have actually swung in for 5 there just so they can't use their leader ability again, because making sure they don't have that is very nice. So they trash the top of our life. We get to trash something from our hand. We're going to, what, 9? 9, 7, this is 8. Dang, we should have actually done the Zeus just because then we could have, oh my gosh, that would have been crazy. To actually be able to Yamato down their character. We're going to get rid of the 0 cost. We don't need it, technically. We can easily counter out a hand for this next swing and then gain a life. So it is what it is. That would have been so much fun, man. I just realized that's what we should have done. So they will be able to stand this up and make a blocker. They draw 1, trash 1. Yep, get the filter. Stand this up. They get the blocker. Cool, cool, cool. It is what it is. So I think Yamato is the option here. And I think we finally start swinging in. So we're going to swing 5, see what they do. Because, again, they have their life flipped face up. So they do take that. We're going to go 6. I'm fine with them clearing out these characters because these are not our win conditions here. We shouldn't even swing this last one. There's no purpose to it. Trash that, gain a life, and pass. So he could have just blocked out that last one for free, so we shouldn't have swung in, which is why we didn't. It keeps a body on the board, and he basically can't go for game or do anything like that. There's no reason to protect Gadatsu. He's not our win condition there. That is not how we win the game. So they get to trash our life. It's a 0 cost off the top. doesn't mean as much as the 0 cost off the bottom, so I'm kind of okay with that. And now you just pass, unless you can develop another Shirahoshi, which would obviously be good. Shirahoshi being very strong in many of these matchups, so they're going to stand up one of these guys for a blocker. We're going to swing in for 5. They'll probably take, and I think we just start pressuring in now, because unless we choose to Raigo one of these big characters off the board and then swing the rest into one of them. Actually, I kind of like the, yeah, I kind of like the Katakuri now that we just top decked it. We'll add this to the bottom, and then we'll swing in for 11 on the kid. They should just block out here. They should not counter out of hand. Good choice. And then we're not even going to swing. We're going to pass. Now that they have one active on the top or face up, we'll just let it slide. So we still have a blocker, so even if they swing us, they would need to play an X-Drake, and they don't, so that's good. They're going to be developing big bodies basically like we do, and we're kind of okay with this. They could go 9-9. We just take the first 9. We block out of the second one. 9 into our character is wild, though. This is our win condition, so we will have to counter out of this. Getting cards out of our hand is very smart for them, so because they will be able to stand this as active and not even have to worry about it. We're going to counter aggressively. I think that might be the play here. I'm not going to lie to you. It might be the play here. I do want this guy turned sideways if I can. Obviously, if I can't, it is what it is, but we'll see what we can do. We've seen 2 0 costs, so this is likely not a 0 cost event right here. We just need to take that into consideration. They could add us 2k back to hand. They choose not to, of course. We're gonna go in for 6. They should be safe to take, yep. And then we're gonna go in for 8. We can still choose to Raigo or not, because we could just Raigo and then sit behind. Actually, it might be better to Raigo still than the Enel. We're gonna get rid of the we're gonna Raigo them down, and then go 10 and 11. So I think that's our best option here. We may go 10, just because obviously if they do want to counter, that's cool with me. But if they don't want to counter, that's also cool with me, because we could pull the 1 cost event right here. So I'd rather at least have the chance in case they do have some kind of rush option, like a 10 drop or something like that, which is something we have to keep in mind when they do swing 5 in the face. We would have to counter. So we are forced in that position, because we could possibly get out of a, well, then we do 9. Actually, yeah, we'd be fine. I do get the Nico Robin trigger to get the Shirahoshi out, which is kind of annoying, but very good trigger right there. So this is a very interesting matchup. I would say this is very toe-to-toe here, because we're both playing similar deck profiles, like ideas behind it. So 9 at what? Nope, no 9. It is smarter to swing 5 first, especially if you're going to 10 drop. Block? Do we block this? They go 12 again? That would be fine with me. If they're developing their whole turn just to kill this body, I'm kind of fine with that. I think we just block. Show me they don't have much in hand. So we obviously could counter out, because we could go 0 and then 2, but we can't win on the next turn, so it's definitely not better to do that. They are going to go 5 here, 10. They leave 2 active. Very interesting. I think we counter. Let's counter. Let's be crazy. Let's see if that does actually work. We know we're going to gain 1 life here, which should be safe. They do have a Veggie trigger. It's not the horrible idea, because then they still don't present lethal. If we're going to pull a Raigo, I'm going to use Raigo, right? Call it a day there. We're going to go 7 and then figure out, they're probably going to veg, obviously, the Yamato. So you should just take and then use it, hit that, yep. And then we're going to go 7 and then 8. I don't even think I'm going to go 9, because again, this could be the 1 cost. And then I just drop this, I at least have 3k counter and I gain that. It's safer in the long run, just in case, because we have not seen a 1 cost, right? Right. We have not seen one. So we're getting down to the final moments. The 9 would be amazing here, because it would force out this. Ooh, that's not gonna be so good. Right, at least, well, they still don't present lethal except with the Shirahoshi, so all we need is some kind of counter here. They could go, I guess, 9 into our character, and we will have to let that go. But they could also just go 6 here, and then 8 here. Bro, that's crazy. They're just hoping we don't have a 1k, basically. And they were right. They were right. We do not have a 1k. That does make sense when we're in this kind of situation where it's just grindy. We're just grinding it out. So we are going to go 5 into their character. If they block, we're still going to go 9 into their character and then drop the Enel. And we should be pretty safe there. So we're going to go 9 into their character. They could block him 1, but then we're going to get rid of their big body. So drop down the Enel, swing. Do they present lethal? 1, 2, 3. Splitting with the Shirahoshi would mean 5, 5. So this could be 7, 7, 9, which would present lethal based on the situation. So we do have to trash this and gain a life in this situation. That's something you got to think about. Do they present lethal? And I think they would. So they won't have any more blockers without gaining life. They did get to filter the hand. They're playing the 2 million volts Amaru. Interesting. Rest of cost 4 lower. So it's a grindy matchup here, man. This is just a Enel gameplay though, like its finest. There's not really a different way to play Enel. They do grab X-Drake, a 2k counter. So we know they have 2k counter at least. So we have to take, what else would they have? We've seen some of their life too, but we haven't been keeping track. So I'm not going to sit here and scroll through the chat because obviously I wouldn't know what it is. They can clear up our whole board. That is going to be an issue. That is going to be an issue, isn't it? They go 5 at us. We will take. We'll use the trigger and draw a card. We get a Yamato. Yamato is going to be really good here because we're going to gain a life. We are going to gain a life. They get to gain a life as well, so that's going to be really annoying. Kitty cat, I need you to move. Now, do we 10-drop Enel? What do we do here? We could force them into lethal, or we could go into lethal. This would only clear out the Shirahoshi blocker, which I don't know if that's enough in this situation, because they have 2 blockers, 2 cards in hand, only 2k counter. They did grab the 2k, so it means that's what they added, so that we don't know what's in their hand. They shouldn't have much counter, right? So we could just, but if we dome this, I mean, they just gain a life off of it. What if we do this? We have to discard a card from hand. You start with a good old-fashioned 5. 5 at your face. Because we can keep grinding this out, they can keep grinding it out. Especially if they keep finding their 7s or their 7-9s. I would just be taking a free block here. I'm just saying, I would have been taking a free block. They take this. They can just shear Hoshi block out of the next one. So, what is the best option here? Either way, we need to gain a life because that would give us 4. They only have 4 swings on the board. We just need one kind of trigger or something. I think playing this just so that in case they do go for clearing board, we're still safe. Do we KO this? I don't think so. I think we just get rid of the Luffy and gain a life. Because now they don't know what's in our hand, and I think that puts us in the best position. Again, I'm not an Enel player. I'm not an Enel main. This deck is actually the epitome of what I hate about One Piece, and I'm playing it because I want to try it out. I actually started building it today for the format of like, what if I want to do this? So we get a 2k counter Zeus. Zeus could come in handy next turn if we have a next turn. They trash our last life. It was a Bedge trigger, meaning this is probably not a good trigger. So now they go 7. 7's guaranteed, and then we'd have to have some kind of trigger here to not lose. Basically simple math. So unless we do have the 1-cost event here, no trigger, and we lose. That was a grindy matchup, man. And that's in that position, man, that was a grindy matchup. We didn't have any of our Red Hawks, though. We only run 2 of them in the deck, so I mean, I'm not like prized, but still, if we just found 1 in the life, 1 in the life would have changed everything. GG's to our opponent. He said GG's. I need to say GG's back. Oh, whoops, my bad. All right, GG's. We're on to one more game. Let's see how we do with Enel, man. This is fun. Red, black, Koby. Red, black, Koby. I think we're going to go second in this matchup. And we have a ton of good top end here. We have removal. We have the Sanji. Let's keep this and see what happens. We don't have much counter, and we don't have much early game other than the Zeus. But I think that's okay. I think that's okay. Maybe we'll be going to 3 here. Kitty cat, I need you to move, Luna. I need you to move, girl. You're up my buns. They grab a doll off the top of the deck that's going to give minus 6,000 power to a character. I think they may do really good into Enel, so we're going to test out like more newer decks as much as possible here. 6 at us, we will take no trigger, but we do get the Flampe early, which is going to be really good because we can just go ahead and use it. They get a blocker on the board. Blocker is going to be good, I guess. Take the top life, draw. We're just going to go... I don't think we're going to starve out this matchup. I think we're just going to go 8 in the face here. I don't think this is one that's worth starving out. They are a dual color leader, meaning they only have 3 or 4 life. So our Gadachus get a lot less value. We've already taken a life. Our Yamato takes less value now. I don't think it's worth starving out in this game. We have 9 cards in hand. They have 7. They have 2 on board, but they have 1 more life. So we have equal resourcing at this point, mathematically, of, you know, 9 into 7 is 2 difference, but they have 2 on board, putting them at 9. But we have 1, but yeah, maybe they have more resources. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to math. If they want to split here and go for game, they can. I'm going to take again. We have a bunch of non-counter. That's kind of fine with us, though. We'll be able to drop the blocker the next turn. They drop the doll. Interesting. We're going to go 5 at face. I'm going to leave the 1 up for the Red Hawk in case they do some weird split or something. And then we're going to draw 2, and I don't want to put this in the trash just in case they have Gecko Mori. I'd rather them put it in the trash, so I'd rather use the Sanji to draw 2, trash 1. Filter the hand, and when we do gain a life, with them being at 2 life, we will get value out of this, being able to clear out their cheap blocker, which they should have cashed in on value earlier. We also have Katakuri next turn to give them a life, and then go into that. So draw 2, we will trash 1. It's hard to say in this position what we should trash. I think we have a lot of Sanji blockers. We'll do that and then just call it a day. So we have a bunch of no counter on this side. Let's organize our hand a little bit. This is something you can't do at locals, but it's nice that you can do it on the sim. They get out the Helmeppo, which is a 6 cost, giving them out the Koby. The Koby will go away at the end of the turn, but it does have a super strong effect to swing into active characters. So it is what it is. This is, again, not our win condition. We can let it die. That is one of the rules in this deck. This is not a win condition. Let it die. We can also put the Helmeppo at the bottom of their life, which is going to be really nice, and then cash in on value. So no blocker, let it die. They swing in, that's fine. We get the filter. They shouldn't swing in actually at all. So we will be playing the Katakuri, getting rid of the Helmeppo. And they're still a 6k leader, so there's nothing we can hit them with. So we're just going to put Helmeppo on the bottom. They don't have enough life or trash to save it. So that's going to be good for removal. Because they did use the effect of... Is it Helmeppo who puts cards from the bottom? No. It must be the Koby. The Koby's gone now, so... I totally forgot about their secondary leader effect, where if it would be removed from play, you can just stop it. But yeah, they don't have the trash for us, so that's fine with me. They give minus 2k here to our Katakuri. They don't have anything that can swing into active right now, so unless they get out the Kuzon, you trash this, you trash 2 cards. So they got rid of our hard removal, which is nice for them, but that's going to be okay. We can still use our effect to really just get rid of cards on the board. I guess this can swing into active characters off the rip. We could counter out, but I don't think it's worth counting out. This is a difficult position to be in. 2-2-1. That's a lot of cards in hand. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it in this position. Like, I want to, don't get me wrong, but it's not worth it. They get to clear up our whole board. Maybe Koby kills it into Enel, like actually. Because when we swing into them, I don't want to swing 5 first. I want them to have less cards in their trash. So I feel like we have to drop the 10 drop Enel, because that's the only thing that kind of makes sense in this position. Because if we remove it straight up, then we just lose stuff, right? We just lose resourcing. We're going to trash a card. We're going to trash probably the 5 cost. I don't think we'll need it. Could have gone for the Yamato as well, just because, again, it doesn't do as much in this matchup. They block out for free. Of course, that's going to be very smart. And we're not going to swing at their face, just in case. Just in case we're not swinging face. This is going to be grindy. This is going to be tough. We have a ton of counter, though. That is very nice. We still have the 1 cost event, which we won't be able to use for a while, so I think we do drop the Yamatos, but the Yamatos at least let us heal, right? But if we double an L, we should be safe. They give minus 2. They have 5 left. They could go 11 into it, but we will save this. This is something I think was more worth saving than that Katakuri, because the Katakuri has no actual value on the board. So we'll see what they want to do. They should leave us at 2 life here. If they're a good player, they should leave us at 2 life. They give this plus 1,000. They put 5 on it. They go 12 into 9, and we give them 2k. We're gonna give them double veggies. Double veggies. So, oh, 13. My math is horrible, guys. My math is no good here. So, 2, 2, 1. I am not gonna let you take this from me. I want this character on the board. This is going to be a grindy matchup, man. I told you. We're going to take that. KO one of your opponent's characters equal to their life. Trigger. Now, maybe get 3 cards out of the trash, but I don't think they should in this situation, because next turn we can just Yamato, so it won't do as much. And I think we will Yamato. I think you should just let that die. Okay, we're going to play into this then. We are going to play into this. We're going to go... It doesn't really matter the order. We're not trashing a card for a Enel effect this turn, so let's go Yamato, KO, and gain a life. They should, if they give us 3 more cards in their trash, which is something we have to keep control of in this matchup, we should be pretty safe here. So they do let it ride. So we're gonna go 5, I think, into face here first, because I mean then they have to counter out of this, or we go 11 into face, and then we basically can win on the next turn. So hey, you would just block out either way. I'm just gonna swing 11 into face. He should block out. He leaves the blocker on the board, which is really good for us, because I can remove that very easily with either the Zeus or with the Yamato. Now, this does only give plus 3,000 to our leader, and the beginning effect does not work anymore for a 5 cost, because we don't have 5 or more life total. So this does not work in this kind of matchup. Now, they do get to give minus 6,000 power to a character with a stall. Very, very strong. Like ridiculously strong right there. Then we can't really counter out to save it. Like 2, 4, 6... They're only going 7 into 5. Yeah, I'm not going to let you have it for free. I'm going to force them in with other characters here. They should go another 7 at least. Yeah, getting plus 1,000 every time when attacking is crazy. Probably wasn't even worth saving it the first time. Now that I think about it, should have just let it die, because then they have to swing our face, and we're fine with that. We should have let them just swing our face. Ooh. Yep. The board's gone. The board is gone. But we should be in a pretty safe position here. I'm going to swing 5 at face. They should give us a card out of hand pretty easily. And then I think we're gonna, this is the only thing that lets us gain a life right now. We don't have to rush in, but we might not get anything out of it, because this does get to attack active characters. So they could just go for clearing the board and keep whittling down our face. They do have 2 blockers. 9-drop Yamato won't remove anything. We could also Zeus, but we can't Zeus and Yamato or anything, especially in this position. They only have 2 cards in trash though, so they can't save anything. Zeus might not be a bad play, but then we don't have anything else to do this turn, so we can Yamato, I think. Yamato only kills a 3 cost, so we'll at least guarantee get the kill on the cheap blocker. and then we still have 1 up. So we should be safe here. At least we did get a card out, and then we're going to have to really hope for this 10 drop 11k to finish the game, basically, or the 10 drop ace. So these will be our finishing plays here. They should be swinging into our active characters again, and we're not going to be able to save it. We're going to need instant value right now, rush options. You need the 7 of these for this matchup specifically. And so I can kind of see the merit into playing it, because this is crazy. Because now he's about to drop on me from his hand. That's wild. That's wild. Yep. So up to one of your characters can attack one of your opponent's active characters, then return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck. Your leader gains plus 1,000. So, well, technically, they're not using the effect, of course, because they don't want us to have removal for this character. We could double remove that and then go for game on the next turn. 4, 2, 2, take our own life, but I don't think that's worth it. Is it worth saving this? Because then they can't kill it with the other things. They don't have anything to give it minus power. This goes away, though. That's the only issue. I don't think so. I don't think it's worth saving. Like, we save it there, I think we have to go for game on the next turn. And we can remove doll right now with the position, because we could, again, use these twice, but I don't think that's, I don't think that works. So we get into the rush option here. They're going to swing 7 and 7. We're going to take, and then we're going to counter out. Puts us in that kind of position. We're going to use the trigger, stop that from attacking, and we're going to ditch, I think we're going to ditch one of the Enels. I think the 10 drop ace is going to be better for that next turn. And yeah, 3 cards. We should start getting out the blockers at least. So we're going to go 5 in the face. It should be 1 card out of hand. And then the 10 drop should get us the blocker on the board. So 1 card in hand is 1 more card in trash, which is going to be really good for them. But we're okay with that. Gain 1 life. The reason we did that and we got rid of the Enel is so that this would still have rush and we don't lose a card in hand. Because if they do go for game on this next turn, we're going to need this counter. And even this Rygo might come in handy. We do have double Zeus if they want to just block her up like crazy, so we can filter out their trash. They play out the Gecko Moria, they're going to get the Doll out. Doll just trashing a card from hand, and then they should get out Sengoku to filter, I would assume. They could also go for the Ripper just in case. Looks like they choose not to do anything, just discard another card from hand. Pretty good there. These cannot actually, actively swing into it. They go 5 into it. Do we want 7, 7, 7 into our face? I don't think so. I think we counter out of 1 here, and then we guaranteed don't die. So now we don't have to counter a single thing after that. We just let it go. We're good with that. And they do have another blocker on the board, which is going to be very obnoxious here. So it is what it is. We're going to take, no trigger, and then they don't swing the 7, of course, because they're smart. So we're going to 10 drop. We're going to go 5 in the face again. See what we can do with 5. They could be playing any of the crazy events. They give us a 2k out of hand. We're going to go 10 drop Enel again. Swing in the face for 11. We're going to trash Rygo, gain a life, and swing 12. They should block again. This is a grindy matchup too, man. Why is every matchup so grindy in this meta? I mean, it's Enel. I get it, guys. I get it. It's Enel. Another Hibari, which is wild. We need to just get this life off of them. So if they can't put a blocker down, then we swing in for 10 again. We ditch this. We try to hold these as much as possible. 14, we cannot counter out of that. We just let it go. Like, we're like Elsa out here. We should probably, because counter, and we have to counter, so take, counter. We counter out of this one, because if not, we have to counter, take, and that's going to be 7s. So a bunch of 7s across the board. We take, use a trigger, draw 1, and that should just be game now. As long as we can get out of these attacks, it should just be game, guaranteed. They can't get a blocker on the board, so we should have this one. Oh, we don't even have to counter this. I didn't even think about it. Leader effect. No trigger, and we'll discard Yamato. Now we can counter out of this, but do we even need to? I think it's just guaranteed. Is it guaranteed lethal? It's technically not guaranteed, because we can go, I guess we just have to go 10-10 in this position. So, because we know they don't have blockers, I think we just take in case they gave the Hibari rush. I think we just take. I think that makes the most sense, because in case this does have rush on active characters, which you didn't realize, did not. So we're just gonna have to go 10-10. 10-10 is because 9, if it gets countered, we just lose. So 10-10 makes the most sense. Because we know this is no, if they can't get out of the first 10, they can't get out of the second one. This has no counter. So they'd have to have 3 2Ks. Well. GG's, they had 3 2Ks in hand, 2 berry goods, and a T-bone in hand. At that point, they just kind of win. GG's to our opponent. That was a fun one. That was a really grindy matchup, man. Like, even if we gain the life, though, we literally still lose on this clapback with all these 7s coming in and us only having 1 to 2 life even. Because we would only gain a Zeus to life, and then after that we would have gained, we would have gained a Beji, it looks like, underneath. No, it would have been a Luffy, so that wouldn't do as much. GG's, man. That was a tough one. That was a really tough one. And guys, that's going to be your OP11 deck profile for Enel. I think that was a pretty interesting showing. I mean, I think this deck is finally getting some power creep against it, because even with this 10-drop Enel, like, it doesn't have the resources, especially when, you know, they can drop that Gecko Mori into Doll, like that one matchup, or Eustass Kid can burn every life and take our resources. We go against a blue matchup, they just drop a pudding and we lose. So I think Enel has a lot of counterplay nowadays that it didn't have when it came out in OP05, which is why it was so annoying to play against. But I will say, I think this is in a good spot in the meta. I don't think it's like obviously going to win crazy meta tournaments consistently. It definitely can still win, but I think, you know, you switch a few things for the current matchups. I mean, you also have to worry about Blackbeard and other decks like that. So Enel is not going to have the showing we expected, at least with the current format, especially with Doflamingo possibly getting banned or hit with the list, just depending on what they take away from him or what they do to that deck list, or what they do to any of the purple decks or anything at all. But I just don't think Enel's there anymore. With that being said, it was actually kind of fun to play. I definitely think I might mess around with this more, just doing some fun meme decks with it and such, but Enel probably just isn't the deck for me. It was a lot of fun. You could see I'm actually not too bad at Enel, I'd say. I think I did my lines correctly, but if I did something wrong, you'll have to let me know in the comments below, and be nice about it. Anyways, I love you and your mama. I'll see you in the next one. Like, subscribe, join the Discord down below, and I'll see you later. Peace.